There's no electricity. There's no mom. There's no food in the fridge. Um, that's how I lived for like 2 years. And that's when I saw the counselor. And she sat with me. She asked me what was going on. And I told her my mom is absent. She's never there. She's she's a hardcore alcoholic. I see her like twice a week. And when I do see her, she's drunk. Um, so she found me help.
Hey everyone, let's start healing. I'm Adrienne Murchison, and welcome to episode 205 of the Let's Start Healing podcast. We have more in common than we think, and what we have in common can change the world. My guest today is changing the world. She is an early childhood educator and a children's book author. And we talk a little bit about that and a lot about her journey in life, which was really a winding journey through a lot of trauma I should say, traumatic events and trauma that she was able to overcome and to be in the place where she is now. And she's giving so much back to others, which she has during her whole professional life. And she's a very inspiring woman, Margarita Chavez. And I mentioned that she is a children's book author, and some of the books she's written are in a series called Born a Series. So it's Born a Chef or Born a Poet. She's actually doing a draft of a book on me, which is based on me being a journalist and a podcaster. And the idea of her series is to show students, children, how there are so many, many different professions out here, and how it takes more than talent to be in a profession. It takes creativity, it takes drive and determination. And so she talks about this in her book. One of her books is called The Boy That Rocked On. And she says that in that book, it's a story about overcoming adversity, embracing one's uniqueness, and pursuing one's passion with all one's heart. It's a perfect read for young children, parents, and educators alike, offering valuable lessons of resilience, self-confidence, and the importance of never giving up on your dreams. She has another book titled The Day I Went Tubing. And in that book, and these are books outside of her Born series. And this one is The Day I Went Tubing. It's a heartwarming tale that captures the magic of childhood, the thrill of exploration, and the awe-inspiring beauty of nature. It's perfect for young readers, she writes. This story reminds us all to cherish the unexpected moments and find joy in the world around us. And Margarita is a pure empath. We met actually many years ago during my Course in Miracles group, and we bonded pretty quickly, but we lost touch as we went our separate ways into other endeavors in terms of just life moving on. And we reconnect every once in a while. And so we recently reconnected, and it is so wonderful to have her on the podcast. I mean, so many things that she experienced in her journey growing up in Washington Heights in New York. It's not a lot that many of us could endure. I can't imagine coming through the things that she has come through. And so she shares her story with us, hoping that it can help someone, whoever this resonates with. Hopefully they'll find some healing in a thread in the story that she shares. So let's get to it. Let's get started. Let's meet Margarita and let's start healing. Welcome, Margarita.
Thank you.
I just did something that I swore I was never going to do again. And that was, we started talking and I had not hit record. Oh my God. And I felt like you were sharing you were sharing some, just some truth about your upbringing, and I really appreciated what you were sharing. And so just to backtrack a little bit, you were sharing how you wake up thinking about God and thanking God, and you are connected throughout the day in your relationship.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
And you grew up, were you a practicing Catholic? You said you went to Catholic schools for 8 years.
Yes, I went to Catholic school for 8 years, and I always went to church on Sunday by myself. I went independently. I chose to go to church on Sunday,
Mhm.
and I always was close to God.
Yeah. And you said that your mom, you believe, was a nun at some point. Is she still living?
No,
She's
no, she
not.
died at like 62.
Wow. How old were you at that time?
How? Oh, I'm gonna. That means I'm telling you my age. I was I was around. I think in my late 20s.
Okay.
Late 20s.
That's a significant time to
Mhm.
lose your mom.
Yeah.
Wow. And so your father, you said, was more.
He was more. He's my mom was white, and my father was Afro-Cuban, so he was more on the Santera side. He believed in. He was Catholic slash Santeria.
Mhm. Mhm. I see. And
Mhm.
so your mom, well, what took you from the, did you ever leave the Catholic Church? Are you
I did leave.
you didn't?
Uh, I was in college, and I was dating this guy for 7 years. I loved him to death. He was just the best. And one night I had a dream that I was with him in a car, and it was pitch black. The car was going straight ahead with arrows with flames coming in this direction. And I crashed into a tent. And when I walked into the tent, Jesus was there, and he reached his hand out to me. And when I went to hold his hand, he walked away. He said, "You're not ready yet." And then I woke up. I woke up, and I'm like, I'm doing the wrong thing. Like I'm living with this my boyfriend. I'm not married. Um, and then I ended up looking for a Christian group in my college at SUNY New Paltz, and I found a great group called Remnant. And then he and I went our separate ways because I was just really a fanatic, like so fanatic. I was walking around campus talking to people about if they were knew Jesus.
Mm.
And I think the reason for that was because to get back with God, and also I made some amazing friends, really
Mhm.
amazing friends.
Yeah.
And when I went to church on Sunday with them, it was a non-denominational
Yeah.
church. I
Yeah.
went to church on Sunday. I went to Bible study Friday. We had game nights on Wednesday. I just hung out with them all the time, and I just met amazing people.
Yeah. Yeah.
One time when I went to Remnant, there was a woman who laid hands on me, and she prayed for me, and she told me that when I got older, people would come to me and share their sorrows.
Mm.
And it was true. it,
Really?
it was true. Yeah.
And in what way was it? Just people you would meet, friends you would meet? Was it in your profession? How
I
did it
didn't know at the time, but I did end up in social work. I ended up being a caseworker.
Mhm,
The last casework job I had, I believe, was at the PADV, Partnership Against Domestic Violence,
mhm,
and well, that was my profession. I had to ask a lot of questions, and oh, it was so heartbreaking,
yeah,
really heartbreaking, what these women went through.
yeah. You and so how did you grow up? Did you have a happy childhood, or were you trying to heal in these experiences that you had spiritually?
So, my childhood was rough because my mom was a hardcore alcoholic, like the stereotypical Irish, just drank a lot. And there used to be vodka bottles, and my mom would drink the vodka bottles and then she would put water in it to make it look like it was full. And when my dad saw that, like he would be so angry, he would just beat her up. Um, just I just witnessed a lot of domestic violence between my parents.
Wow.
It was rough. It was rough.
It was traumatic, I'm sure.
Mhm.
How have you been able to heal, from witnessing that, and has your spirituality helped you to heal, or have you been able to heal?
Right now, I'm good. Thank God. It was a long time ago. I mean, between then and now, I have such a great experiences with people.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm okay now, thank God.
Yeah.
It is still a tearjerker. Like I feel my voice is choking just talking about it.
Mhm. Mm. I appreciate you sharing that happened. Um, and so have you had counseling around it?
I did when okay, so let's see. When I was in elementary school, I had an English teacher. She gave us a homework assignment, and the homework assignment was find a newspaper article, write a song, write a poem, write a story, do something with that newspaper article. Um, and I found a story in the newspaper about a father that had his son for the weekend. He ended up going to a card game, dominoes, who knows what, with his friends. And the boy was like 5 years old. He totally ignored the little boy. And the boy kept talking to him, saying, I'm hungry or I'm tired or something. The father was so fed up that he hit him so hard that he killed him. Why did I choose that poem? I have no idea. So
Yeah.
anyway, like this was in high school. I went to Martin Luther King High School in New York. I remember the poem like to this day.
Was it a poem in the newspaper, or where did you find?
No, the story. I wrote a poem from that story. So my poem was Daddy did it well. Hit me hard, then I fell. Daddy did it hard. All boys should get a bodyguard. Daddy did it. I wanted to stay. And he took me away. And it was long. I don't remember the other lines, but when I read the poem to the class, I just started crying. So she was under the impression that I was abused.
Mhm.
So she sent me to the counselor and I'm just like, my dad died. He beat my mom, but he never hit me. Um, and then she had us do another assignment. The day in the life of you, something like that, right? So I wrote down that when I go home, there's no electricity, there's no mom, there's no food in the fridge. Um, that's how I lived for like 2 years. And that's when I saw the counselor. And she sat with me. She asked me what was going on, and I told her my mom is absent. She's never there. She's she's a hardcore alcoholic. I see her like twice a week, and when I do see her, she's drunk. Um, so she found me help. She
Do
found
you
she found me a counselor. I went to go see a counselor in New York, and it helped a great deal.
How old were you at that time?
Uh, Probably like 15. Yes, I was 15. Yes.
Were you the only child?
Mm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, do you see yourself as sort of a self-made person?
Mm, no.
Not really?
Self-made means what is
Mean Meaning that, I mean, you are a very compassionate person. You have an industrious side. I mean, we're gonna get to your children's books, and you're a teacher, and you are a, um, a giver, and, I mean, you're a public servant, in my view, as, by the nature of being a teacher, and you're saying that your mother didn't really raise you, and I don't know how much your father raised you.
he brought the money home. He was working 5 in the morning till 5 at night. He was a painter.
Mhm.
He made excellent money. He had his own business. But in regards to self-made, no, I can't say that because God has put so many people in my life, so many people in my path to make me succeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is the hardest part. When I was a teenager, I was so fed up with my life. I hated my life so much. I was on the 6th floor and I was at the window and I wanted to jump. I thought so hard about it. And a voice said, "It's gonna get better." And it wasn't my voice. I
Yeah.
was not hearing things.
Yes.
It was God. He
Mhm.
said to me, "It's gonna get better." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna trust you with that." Trust was hard because I prayed every Sunday, every day, "Please make her stop drinking, please." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna trust you. Things are gonna get better." And I don't know when, but soon after that, I was at the window again, blowing bubbles. I don't know why that relaxed me. It just made me calm. I was blowing bubbles, and a beautiful girl was like, "Hey," and I look, and like right across from me was this girl looking at me, and she was like, "Hey, what's your name?" And we were around the same age. She is 2 years younger than I am. And we had conversations, and then she was like, "Hey, you should come over." And that was it. Me and her were besties, like
Mhm.
besties. And I was never home after that. Like, she wanted to see me every day. Like, she loved me. We have so much fun together. She is my best friend. She never knew what was going on.
Really?
She was always like, "Why can't I come to your house?" I'm like, "I don't know. My mom says no. I don't know." I mean, she knows now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told her, like, we reconnected and I told her my story. And she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I'm just like, "What could you have done?"
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed. It was too embarrassing.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's I have talked about, I mean, I haven't talked in depth, but I have talked about, how I was sexually abused when I was growing up for many years, and, um, there's a lot of shame, it took me years to understand that what I was feeling in many ways was a level of shame, which really helped when that word was introduced to me. And recently, I have been thinking about how I have a superpower that's it's actually like too much. Like I wish I could relax it a little bit, but but I have a superpower that I think has come out of that, and that is that I really see people. That I really so I have a lot of I really see the humanity in people, and, but I also see, like, the nuances of people, I see how people react, I see it's almost like I can read their minds, you know? And I'm some a part of me, like, it's helpful, but another part of me is like, "That's a lot." You know? Can I just lay that down and not see what I see? And not take in because I'm an empath. I absolutely know you're an empath, so, but that is a superpower that I don't know that I would have. I mean, I think I was born an empath, and I think I have natural intuition that God blessed me with, but that observance, that real observance in terms of, the way that I see people, I think comes from that experience. Of protecting myself, to see how people are, or is this person gonna hurt me, or is this person gonna hurt me? And just kind of being on guard in different ways. And then it just kind of, you know, bloomed from there.
But is that intuition or is that like God talking to you, the Holy Spirit letting you know this is what's going on with this person?
I think, I think it's a part of I equate it the same. I think it's all the
Okay.
same.
Right. Okay.
So, I do think it's all the same. But, I mean, I think separate from that, just period, I have an intuition that like you said, God might just speak to you in certain ways.
Mhm.
So, separate from what I'm saying, God might just plant something in my mind,
Okay, yes.
in a certain way.
Right, right.
But I am aware of I mean, I've been focused on, the experience, um, all my life, all my adult life. But I think it's in recently that I've been thinking about how, just this observation, that I have of people,
Mm,
an awareness that it sprung from that. And I've always been aware, I think since my 30s, of a level of shame,
mm.
of something that was not my fault,
Right, right.
but it's and, that was A Course in Miracles before when we weren't recording, I was mentioning how we, met during, the Course in Miracles group that you said was very close to where, you lived at the time,
Mhm.
and, that really helped me develop that journey, um, with God helped me through A Course in Miracles helped me to develop self-love.
Mm.
Because I did not have self-love, and I was so curious in my 30s, I was so curious about self-love and self-esteem, like, what must that be like? And but in A Course in Miracles, I came to understand God loves me too. God loves me no matter what, like he loves everyone else. So so do you feel like you have something that arose from the way, that you grew up, and like some gift that, maybe it ties into your empathy, but
It's
is
kind
there
of like what you said. Like, when I meet people, I know, I kind of know if they have some kind of trauma. Um, like, the best example I can give you is I was working at a group home, and there was this guy. He had a yellow Jeep. Um, he put a big yellow sun tattoo on his arm with his face in the middle. He was very, what's the word? Charismatic, like happy. Um, and he had money, and he was handsome, but something was broken in him. And I saw it. And we became really close. And and I said to him, I remember saying to him, like, what happened to you when you were little? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I feel like something happened, like your mother hurt you. Because he used he never said anything bad to me, but sometimes, like, there was a woman that was a single mom, and he put her down. And I'm like, you don't know her story. You can't judge her. Um, Long story short, we ended up living together, and we had a bookshelf. And I took I was going through the books, and I found a journal. Yeah, and I read it, and it was heartbreaking.
mm,
He was he lived with his mom and dad, but he stayed in the car. He slept in the car because his mom used to beat him.
mm,
And yeah, I didn't. I felt guilty, so I told him when he got home. I'm like, look, I'm really sorry. I read this book. Um, do you want to talk about it? And he told me that his mom was missing in action. Like, he hasn't heard or seen her, and that was all. He didn't want to talk about it. But
mhm.
I feel like I do have that gift where even though someone's smiling, I can see behind the
Yeah,
mask.
yeah, yeah.
And I guess I'm assuming it's because I was there. Like, I could totally relate to
Mhm,
people who are hurt, because
mm,
I have a mask too. Like, I'm always smiling. Like, people would never assume that I had art. Like, most people, they look at me like she's so happy, and they get jealous. They're like, oh, here you go with your good morning. They have an attitude of me sometimes.
really?
Yeah, yeah. When I was a teacher, I worked with some people, and they were annoyed with my joy.
That's amazing.
They were just like, it's too early for that. And I'm like, it's never too early to smile, never.
No, no.
And if they knew that I used to live on my school lunch for years, I was so skinny. If they knew that, then they would understand why I'm so happy, why I'm
Mhm,
so grateful for everything.
yeah, wow. Did you work in domestic violence, and when you were working at the group home, do you tie that to how you grew up and wanting to help people who have experienced abuse or trauma?
You know what? It was, when I went to the counselor, she said, "What we need to do is have your mom committed for probably a year, um, and then we have to figure out where you can go." And I was talking to my cousin who I had told you, she was always giving me books. She gave me Dean Koontz, Stephen King, Jackie Collins, Harlequin romances. It took my mind off of, like, I went into another world in the books.
Mhm.
It really helped me just escape.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I ended up calling 911. I think I said my mom was trying to kill me. It was the only way. The counselors told me it was like kind of the only way to get her out. So she got admitted for a year, and my cousin took me in, and I stayed with her for a year.
Were you about 16, 17 at that point?
I was around 16. I think I was 16, yes. Um, and then and then my senior year in college, counselors and teachers, oh my gosh, they were so amazing. They did everything in their power to get me into school, into college. I got admitted to like an Ivy League college, University of Vermont. I actually went. I had like a weekend there. Um, and I remember being in the bathroom, and this student there was looking at me through her peripheral vision, and she goes to her friend, "She's only here because she's Spanish."
Oh my god. Haters.
Oh,
Haters will hate.
I was like, I'm not going to this school. Um,
So you went to SUNY? Did you go to a
SUNY New Paltz.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow. But then it after college that you started working with domestic abuse victims or
Um, it was here in Georgia.
okay. When did you move to Georgia?
Probably like 20 years ago.
Okay. So
I
around
did, you know what happened? I did a lot of social work in New York City. I did a lot of casework over there. And then when I moved here to Georgia, I got a job at Partnership Against Domestic Violence. And oh, that was heartbreaking seeing, just having to ask them questions. There was this one woman that I was interviewing, and I had to ask her, have you been raped? And she got so tired of the questions. She said, "Have you seen Precious, the movie? That's me. I went through it all. Just check yes. My mother sold me for sex. Just check yes, yes, yes." And it was heartbreaking. There was this one woman, I had asked her, "Do you have children?" And she's like, "No, yes, no." I'm like, I'm sorry, is it yes or no?" And then she says, "Well, my mom died, and then my father raped me, and I had a baby, so I don't know if I have a child. Is she my sister?" So that's where I'm at. I don't know.
Mm,
Um, and at the job, they told me, "You need to have a straight face. Be professional. Don't cry, because you're not helping them if you cry. You
mm,
have to be strong for them." And I would just go home and I would just cry. Um, and I remember that woman, she went to the supervisor and she was like, "I don't want Margarita anymore because she doesn't care about me."
ooh.
I was like, "You have no idea how many tears I cry when I get home for you. I wake up in the morning and I think about you." And she just didn't understand.
Did
And,
that lead you to alter your demeanor?
unfortunately, my husband, he got tired of it. He got tired of seeing me in tears. So he told me, he was like, "You need to find another job. You just can't
Mhm.
do this anymore." That's why I went into teaching. Um, I decided to go into teaching because listening to all that trauma, I think it was too much for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot. It reminds me of my father, as you know, was a detective, and it just took me to what, police see or what he would see. and what that leads to. It's hard. It's traumatic to see people who suffer so much.
And
It's
I didn't know how to do it either. You
yeah.
know, I had on Thursdays, I had support group,
Mm-hmm.
and I was winging it. I was just winging it. I would read books in the library to see what to talk about. And there was this one day, this woman, she had a son. She said that her daddy raped her, and he was sleeping, and he is sleeping with his mouth open. So she boiled water with sugar. Yeah, she poured it down his throat.
And what happened?
And she was a little girl. She was a little girl. I don't forget how old she was. Um, the police came. She admitted to doing it. She said why she did it. And she said to me, and the group, she said, I can't wait till he gets out of jail. And she said he was in jail for still raping other girls. She was saying she was going to kill him.
No kidding.
And
Wow.
the group encouraged her to forgive him and not to kill him because she has a son. I was so overwhelmed. It was overwhelming for me. It's like
Was that a support group, did you say?
it was a support group.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up going to church and asking for counseling.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. I was just crying and crying and telling the story, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And she said, you're crying because you see these women through the eyes of God.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was deep.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You're seeing them with love, and you're hurting for them.
the pain was it was unbearable.
Mhm.
It was so sad.
Wow. Do you find yourself, or did you find yourself having conversations with God?
I remember I remember just telling God, I'm so sorry. I had it bad, but other people had it so much worse. So much worse. You know, I had interviewed this one woman, and she was saying how she would sleep behind the carts of Publix. Like she pulled the carts out and she would sleep there with her child. Oh gosh, it was so horrible.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I heard that podcast about the pastor who,
Yes.
and he saw a woman with two kids.
Yes.
I so related to that when I heard that
Yeah.
story. I was like, wow, that is so true. Georgia is just, it just
Mhm.
has so much homelessness. And it's crazy because I left New York
Yeah.
because I'm like, there's too much homelessness here. And I ended up coming here, and it's here, but it's not where I live, you know?
Well, it's where I live, and I live in a nice area, what I
Yeah,
would consider a nice area. What I see a lot of, I mean, I see homeless, like homeless, what we perceive of as homeless. And I also see people who might work, might have jobs,
right,
and they're living in their cars.
right. Yes. Yeah.
So it's a lot.
And you know what I did? When I was working at the shelter, I always not always, but like every other week I would bring my kids because I wanted my son and my daughter to see the other side
Yeah.
because th- my kid, like I give my kids everything, you know, just
Mhm.
because I don't want them to go through what I like. My kids never been hungry,
Mhm.
like never lacked at all, anything. Um, and now that my daughter is 21, she's she's always like looking for homeless to give food to.
Oh, yeah.
And she's always saying thank you to me. She's like very grateful.
Mm.
She
Mhm.
doesn't take anything for granted.
Mhm. I, there's a woman, I have not seen her, and I was just thinking this weekend, I wonder, is this woman still alive? I mean, she wasn't that old, but she wasn't young, and she would be at a bus stop on Roswell Road up near, the heart of Sandy Springs, the main part of what they would call downtown Sandy Springs, and there's a bus stop, and she would be sitting there all day talking to herself. And then, but late at night, she went somewhere because late at night she wouldn't be there. But then I would see her in the rain. There'd be
Oh,
times, it would just be pouring down rain, and I used to have to talk myself out of trying to bring this woman home,
mhm,
which would
mhm,
be absurd because
mhm.
I don't think that she was sane, you know?
Right.
But I mean, because I have an extra bedroom, and I was just thinking like, this is really sad that, we're in a society where we have extra bedrooms and we can't invite people into our home. So what was the pull for you with teaching where you wanted to become a teacher? And are you still a pre-K teacher? I thought
Yes,
you were,
I
but
am.
just a second ago I thought you said you were not.
Yes,
So
yes, I still am.
okay.
Um, I think I was at a bookstore and I came across a book by Ron Clark. Have you heard of him?
Yes, yes. Mm,
So I ended up buying the book and I was like, you know what? I think I need to get my master's in teaching.
mhm,
And so my bachelor's is in creative writing. And I was like, maybe I'll do my master's in teaching and teach in a high school. And because I just love literature.
mhm.
When I went to college, I fell in love with the poetry, with the different literature from different countries. I took creative writing, and the teachers always would post what I wrote in front of the class
Mhm.
as a good example.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be a writer.
yeah.
But then I'm like, I'll be a writing teacher in high school. Um, but I ended up getting a job in pre-K, and I've been doing it for like 9 years now.
Your
And
book,
I'm happy with it.
I bet. I mean, I hope so. You must be so pulled by the kids must really draw you in is what I'm trying to say.
Oh gosh, it's they're so beautiful. It's just such blessing
Mhm,
to introduce them to things, to
mm.
introduce them to science. They see it as magic when they see the Mentos and the Coke explode. They think it's magic when they see magnets. It's just it's a blessing to be with children.
So, has it been through the 9 years that you've been writing children's books or in the last 4 or 5 years?
No, 2 years ago. Two
Really?
years ago, my husband said, "I want you to take the just relax this summer." And it's hard for me to relax. I always have to be doing something.
Yeah.
So I just started working on books.
It's so wonderful. Again, I'm flattered. I'm so honored that you think my path could be a story. And I love how you open up, just a world to students, really letting them know that they could be anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's like what I've seen is they always are like the doctor, the fireman, the policeman, they're it seems as if they're very limited. And it's like before they can write their name, they're already pretending to be somebody. They're already with the stethoscope and they're pretending it and they can't even write their name yet. But I'm excited about just introducing different career paths for them. And I think what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to take the kitchen and I'm going to discipline myself to change the kitchen every single month to something different.
The kitchen at school, the
The
kitchen.
kitchen in the classroom.
Okay.
Like one month, it'll be a cafe and there'll be a barista. The next month, they can be a journalist or a podcaster, and I'll have microphones where they can ask each other questions.
Mhm.
I'm excited about this year.
That's a great idea.
Thank
That's a great idea, and it helps them to it builds their confidence, I'm sure.
you.
I'm sure. Do you read them your books
I
or
do. I do. It's funny because when I wrote The Day I Went Tubing, I was asking them for their opinion on
Mhm.
the cover. Should I change this? What do you think about this? They're my guinea pigs.
Now, do you do the illustrations yourself through like you have an illustrator?
No, no. I use AI.
Yeah, yeah, it's still good. I mean, I was curious because it looks great. It really looks great. Have you done one on yourself, based on yourself?
Oh yeah, I did. Embrace your stripes.
Okay.
So I told you my mom is white. She's white, green eyes. And every time it was report card day, she would go pick up my report card.
Mhm.
Um, I think she was in the hospital, so she couldn't pick it up. So my father went, and my father is dark, dark. So everybody's mouth dropped when they saw him. And the next day I was called a zebra.
Really?
Yes. And they looked at me with disgust. It was really bad. It really messed up my self-esteem.
Yeah. Yes.
They looked at me like I don't know, there was I guess they've never seen an interracial relationship.
Mhm.
I lived in Washington Heights and
Mhm.
there were really it was like a lot of Hispanics. Um
I'm trying to remember, did Washington Heights have, like, in the 90s? Because I was in New York in the 90s, and I'm trying to remember what my perception was of Washington Heights. Wasn't there stuff in the news, incidents that took place that wasn't some of the shootings, did they take place in Washington Heights?
I was hanging out with the biggest drug dealers, girl.
Really?
When I met
That's
my
surprising.
when I met my friend through the window, we were always hanging out. And unfortunately, we were hanging out with drug dealers.
You do seem like a good girl. That's why I would say that's surprising.
But she ended up like falling in love with one of the biggest drug dealers. Um, my family was friends with one drug dealer that was huge. He ended up going to jail. They were playing Russian roulette. They were
Mm,
just
wow.
me and my friend, we learned the spots. You know what a spot is?
No.
The spots are the apartments that had the drugs in it.
Oh, okay.
She kinda like I think she kinda like wrote it down,
Mhm.
and gave it to the police, and one day, a huge van of cops and dogs came, and she was like, "Yeah, so I did that."
Oh my.
I'm like, "You did what?" She was like, I gave them the spots."
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, she and, the drug dealers were very nice to us.
Mhm.
I mean, I was working at McDonald's. I would go home at like 1 in the morning and I was safe.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like nobody messed with me
Of them.
because of them. I felt like they were like, I don't know, they were
Acting.
kind of like making sure that I was safe. I don't know. I mean, they sold drugs. They're bad
Yeah.
people, without a doubt. But in the same breath, I felt safe walking the streets.
And
And I never engaged in any drugs. And it's because I lived on the 6th floor. That was the top floor. And when I was little, I used to look out the peephole, and there used to be crack was out. It was like big then. AIDS was big, crack was big. And when I used to look in the peephole, I used to see the crackheads sitting on the stairs. Like they used to inject their arms, and they were emaciated, they were skinny, and I just knew that I was gonna stay away from that. And
Mhm.
I never drank either because I wanted to break that cycle with my mom. Because
Mhm.
my mom drank, her sisters drank. It was like ran in the family.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm like, not me. I was the first to go to college. Um, I broke the cycle for sure.
Yeah. And we had gotten back to talking about this when you were talking about, your mom being a child of a biracial relationship. And so how has that been? Was that the reaction that you were talking about, a reaction that you were getting? You were called a zebra, you said. I mean, that's very hurtful. And did that play into your self-identity at all?
Oh,
Being biracial?
I was so confused. It was crazy. When I went to Martin Luther King, I took a class in Black poetry, and his name was Dr. Gerald. Oh my gosh, I fell in love with the Black poetry. And he talked about slavery, and I went home and I started telling my mom how bad white people were because of slavery. And my mother looks at me and she was like, "Hello, what am I?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, what are you?" And she's like, "I'm white." She's like, "You're half white." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah." I don't know why it just didn't click.
Mhm.
And then after that, if anybody like talked bad about white people, I would defend them. I'm like, not all white people are bad. Um, and nobody could talk about black people either, because
Mhm.
my father and my brother are dark skinned, and my brother, my stepbrother, he used to tell me, you're so lucky. Your life is gonna be so easy. And
Mm.
I'm like, "Why do you say that?" And then he would share with me, like, the racism that he goes through being dark skinned. And I remember he said to me, he passed away a couple years back. He said, "Come with me to the pizza shop and pay attention to everything." So we go to the pizza shop. He buys us pizzas, and then we sit down, and he's like, "Pay attention to the people that walk in." So white people walk in, and the guy engages in conversation with them and everything. And then my brother says, "What did you notice?" I'm like, "Okay, I noticed he didn't talk to you, but he talked to them." And he
Wait,
said,
wait, wait, I wanna make sure I understand. So the person who comes in might be white, and he engages in conversation, you're saying, with the other customers?
right, but he didn't have any conversation with my brother.
Mhm.
So my brother says to me, number one, when he gave him the change, he put it on the counter and walked away. But when he gave the change to the people that walked in, not only did he engage in conversation, he put the change in their hand. And
Mhm,
he said to me, "I've been coming to this pizza place for 34 years,
mhm.
and the guy has never spoken to me, let alone put the change in my hand. He doesn't dare touch me." Um, and it was an eye opener for me.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Wow." And I'm like, "Why do you even come here?"
Yeah.
Like, "Why come here?" And he said it was good pizza. And I'm like, "Okay." But he said he tries not to go there, but it's good pizza. So he goes there, every now and then. But he said he does realize that the color of his skin,
Yeah.
he said it's not until he speaks does he get respect. Um, and he says he sees women like clutch their purse if they pass by him.
Your brother is not living now, or he is living? His
No, he passed away.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can relate to your losses of both of your parents and your brother. Do you feel that you're connected with them spiritually? Do you try to engage with them in that way through
No.
God?
Mm-mm.
Do you feel like you've processed the loss of them?
Oh gosh, I was teaching when my brother died, and I think I had like a nervous breakdown or something. It was so bad. It
Mm.
was like I lost my father
Wow.
all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a spiritual practice for yourself that you
Uh,
try to do daily?
no, I need one. I bought a house in January, and my closet is humongous, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a prayer corner, a prayer closet, and I set it up with verses and everything, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
You
But I
set it
really
up
need
with
to.
Bible verses, you mean, in that area? And,
Mhm.
but you're saying that you haven't, like, utilized that space yet?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. What do you think I find that people find this hard to answer, and I don't know, I might have asked you this when we were talking last week, but what do you think that God wants you to do for you in your work that you're doing? In your writing children's books, and your teaching? What do you think God wants you to do for you?
Honestly, I don't know. I know you asked me that before. I don't know. But I feel as if every time I do something, a door opens. And then I walk through the door and I do something and another door opens. Um, so, people that know me, they say you do too much. And it's because I know that I just have to just keep creating, the same way God creates this bird and that bird and this, he's a creator and he put that in each and every one of us to create.
Mhm.
So I try to just do as much as I can
Yeah,
and see what he has in store for me.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, like that day when I was like contemplating jumping, he said things are going to get better. But
Mm,
if he would have said, in the future, you'll have two beautiful children, a wonderful husband, a big house, seven cats, you've published over 10 books, I'd be like, no, that's not true. That's so not true. And
mm.
I think that's why, like, we can't see the future because, like, I don't know, it would just be like, that's cap.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
me.
yeah. I know just from other people, watching other people, that God can do things that are beyond what we even ask for. So I try to stay open for that. But I've been reminded, I even wrote it down the other day and it's not in front of me, so I can't remember the exact words, but I've been reminded how we have a role, like we have a responsibility in this life, and what we want to unfold. We have to do our part, in that. And our part in that is believing and, having faith and doing the thing that we love, that, the thing that we want to create, engaging in that creation. We have a part in that creation, in that unfoldment. And sometimes I forget that. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if I asked you this either. Is there something specific that you, and this can be our last question, except for how people can reach you if they're interested in your books, but is there a blessing or a miracle that you said, I had nothing to do with this? This was God right here.
Um, everything, everything from meeting my friend at the window. That was no coincidence. Um, the teachers that helped me get to college. Um, I mean, one of my art teachers, she put me at Cooper Union in Union City, downtown the village. Like that's an Ivy League college. And I learned like how to draw professionally. Um, no, I feel like everything. God just literally left his footprints throughout my life.
Mhm.
That's why I feel like I can't take credit for things because it's all him.
Mhm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, if people are interested in your book, I know they can go to Amazon for your books. Do you have a website?
Oh, I do. Prekstories.org.
Right. Prekstories.org. And if they want to reach out to you for any reason regarding your work, should they go through your website
Through
or?
my website.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I really appreciate you doing this. I know there was a reluctance.
My friend said, "You gotta do it. You have to purge." I'm like, "I don't need to purge. I purged enough."
Well, you shared a lot, and I really appreciate you doing that. I mean, to see how you rose from those different circumstances is amazing and a blessing and encouraging to other people who may think that, they may have no hope for whatever space that they're in.
Isn't it such a full circle? Like, those teachers were always helping me, through the darkness, and then now I'm a teacher. You
Yeah.
know, I wanna be the teacher that they were. The
Mhm,
way they helped me,
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
always, like, trying to help people.
Yeah. And you're seeing things in your students, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Well, don't leave me, but I wanna say thank you.
Well, thank you
You.
for having me on the podcast, and I'm sorry it took like, forever.
No, it's
I
okay.
know it took years for me to get on here.
Yeah, but we've reconnected, and I really am grateful for that. I'm grateful for that,
Me
and
too.
what you're doing and what you're giving to the world is beautiful and amazing.
Thank you.